welcome to our first Directs Report meeting. I want to thank you all for taking time to tune in. I also want to thank all the other members for being a part here and helping us put on these great training sessions and lending all their individual expertises. One of the things that we want to start pretty much every meeting with is kind of a little bit of culture and things that everyone should know. The definition of culture, it is not what you do, but how you do it.
You guys, and that's really important. While he's reading these off, I want you guys to write it down. This is something that you should know anyways. This is something that's a definite in every meeting that we have. It's what we do on a daily basis. You can't just go, okay, I know it, and that's it. You've got to live it. And when you live it, that's when you make things happen.
The next thing that we need to make sure that we all know, live, and breathe is our mission statement. And that is, we deliver an immersive adventure, harnessing masterful showmanship, outrageous service, and an over-the-top experience. After our mission statement, you need to know what the best factor is.
Does anybody know what the best factor is on here that can recite it?
The excitement a guest feels from the moment they discover our venue, which reignites every time they remember their experience. I am learning to memorize these.
Very good, honey.
Very, very good.
Yay, Taylor!
And we also need to know the reasons why guests visit our venues. Does anyone know all the reasons why yet?
I have it right in front of me. I don't want to act like I know it by heart, but I have been reciting it as much as I can. Rejection-free zone, social interaction, live action entertainment, fantasy, which is our club name, which is awesome, to unplug and have fun.
That is correct. And the last thing is, what is GoBEST core values? Now, if no one knows this, that's absolutely fine, but we are going to teach it and we are going to know it. We're all going to memorize it. Our core values are integrity, pride, resourceful, outgoing, and growth. So that was integrity, pride, resourceful, outgoing, and growth.
An easier way, as Adia put it, iProg.
Hey, iProg.
If you remember that, iProg, then you will remember them.
Yeah, acronyms help out a whole lot. I do like iProg. Thank you, Adia.
Yeah. Oh, I remembered it.
No problem.
All right, so our main focus that we want to focus on today is some things that some of you may never have seen in your venues, but it is important to know. And that is your end of month reports. Also, as some companies may have called them, a profit and loss, and how to use it, how to use the information to forecast what you're going to be doing in the future, and to make sure that you're keeping everything in the correct spectrum. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here, and we're going to have two venues up comparing against each other. Okay. So these, when you get these emails, the first thing you're going to see, or the first page you're going to want to go to, is your at a glance. At the top of your at a glances, you're going to have your venue's name, and then the month and year for what the report is for. And as you can see, they do look a little bit different from location to location based on what type of location you're operating. So
I guess my question is there anybody on here that has read these before? Bo, you don't count.
No.
I've never read these before. Nope.
Yeah, I've read them. I've went over it a couple times. Well, it's been gone over with me a few times.
I mean, at a glance, it'll give you a generalization of how your location is performing. So it gives you obviously what your profit is. So cash in sales and your cash out expenses. So your variance line is going to be the difference in between. So you can see on this one, the cash in sales is a little over 113,000. The cash out was it was almost 87. So their variance is 26,485. So it breaks down what my payroll or the payroll percentages. It breaks down what your advertising is, and it tells you in line where you should be. Like your idea for payroll is 27%. I think that's high. I'm not gonna lie, I think it's really high. I think that 25 is more of a magic number, but I don't set these. I guess you can for your individual location. Anybody that works with me knows that I'm about a 20% individual when it comes to the payroll. So I think the first thing that everybody should ask themselves are, what is the profit margin you want to be in? You want to be at 20%, 25%, 30%, and you know, where do you want your location to sit? So your rent percentage, you'll see your current year and your previous year. You'll see your guest count. So you've got your free and your paid customers. That says ideal right there where it says 45 or more. I think this is kind of old, Scotty. You can back me up on this if you want. I mean, it was 45 a while ago. Now it's more 55.
I think it's like 55 for non-alcoholic locations in the adult club, and I think like 65 or 70 for alcohol locations.
I think a good number to keep, and I live by the rule, is 60. If you get $60 per guest that comes into your venue, you're sitting good. That's the number to shoot for. That to me is for a juice bar location. $60 and above is where I like my locations to sit. That's ideal for them, and they know that. Taylor's on this call, Lee's on this call. They both know that that's the rule of thumb with me. Your operating costs, it should be under 66 per guest that come in. The next line is your hours. So it's your gross divided by the number of employee hours worked. So it should be above 55 hours per employee that is worked. As you can see, that one is at 78.0 or 78.88. Your last line will show you your current year versus previous year, your bar sales, your door sales, and your rent income. So you can see that this location is down. So I guess looking at that, can anybody tell me what would their thought process be? So the rent is up, door sales are down, and bar sales are down. What would you do?
Get more people in.
I make sure we're advertising every day.
Absolutely.
Trying
Run a
Trying to
daily
get-
promotion.
As Bo would say, get asses in the seats.
That's it.
That's where that's falling. I mean, the rent it's up. If I'm looking at the decrease in the door sales and the bar sales aren't too bad. I know this location, so I can speak that they have a pretty strong wait staff. So to keep it, those are all ladies' drinks. That has nothing to do with guest drinks. That's all drinks that the guests have purchased for the entertainers. Door sales, they are down significantly. That one, they're struggling. They did a happy hour. So they dropped the happy hour or did happy hour sales. They've increased the hours of it. They're getting guests in. So that's a factor with that. Because they have dropped it. They've been pass flooding everywhere. I mean, everybody is out giving out passes, pass to hand. So a lot of those are free passes. So it has hurt the door, but that's why the rent, it's staying balanced, it's staying level. But for this location, like I said, I know this location. I am happy with the overall performance of what they did. I'm not happy with the fact that they're down. They're down $15,832.96, and they spent $3,000 more than what they did last year. So my question is, how did you spend more money when you made significantly less? That's a problem. Right. So that's where you deep dive. So this is like Scotty said, this is at a glance. This is just to kind of give you that generalization of this is where the location sits. Now you're going to want to dig deeper as to why is it $3,000 more? Why did you spend that much?
I would assume it also depends on what was purchased and like if they're trying to make the business better and they had to purchase things to make it more better for customers to come in and to try to make more money. It's hard sometimes because we're trying to make it so that we don't have to spend more money than what we are trying to make for my business, fantasies, not my business, but for fantasies. Yeah, to get things moving a little better, we have to make a couple changes. And when it comes to spending money, no, we're not trying to go over, but there are some ideas and like building costs and trying to make more fun things in the club so that we can make the more money.
I was going to say investing in things that will increase your check average, whether it be implementing a hookah program or elevating your mocktail program, just different ways to help get that check average up to make the door back, make the bar back.
I mean, as you can see, their check average is 82.58. So their check average, it really isn't struggling here. So I mean,
if they're pass flooding everywhere, as you say, and they're spending the money on the pass flooding and they're giving the door away for free, maybe the idea is the definition of insanity. Change where you are promoting. Because it's not working. It's not working. It's not working.
Yeah.
I think what it comes down to too is it's the main thing that we sell. So what is it? What is our main product that we sell?
The main product that we sell would be our dances.
Our entertainment value.
Yes.
So I think
in a juice bar, yes.
Those mini champagne bottles that we just put in a ticket for or got the button for, I bought the club itself bought maybe 12 of them and they sold out yesterday. They sold out completely with our Latin night. So that was pretty cool.
So that's something that you know that you need to put on the menu and discontinue something. Constantly, you have to change what's on your menu, especially for a juice bar. You can't sit with stagnant product that nobody wants.
Right. Yeah.
So this is the first part of these reports that are sent out to you. It's the at a glance. Essentially, what you're going to look at this is kind of the surface level of your operation. We did decide to pick two here. One that was a non-alcoholic venue and one that had alcohol. Because there are things that are different. Like with an alcohol location, you're going to look at your individual beer sales and your individual liquor sales. So in this location, they have a lot more beer drinkers than what they have liquor drinkers. So if your ideal clientele is a more high-end liquor-oriented guest, you're going to want to use this to drive where you're going to start promoting and advertising, because it's showing you that you're getting more of the beer drinkers than you are that high-end cocktail drinker person. Also, again, wages. You're going to look to see that wages are a little high. So this location would want to look to see at reducing their payroll costs. One of the things that you can do with that is forecast your overall needs a little bit better by setting a payroll max, and also by cutting people early when you're reaching that slower time in which you can start cutting people early. Their advertising is just a little high, but it's not bad. Just because something's pink doesn't necessarily mean that it's always going to be bad. There can be justifications. Like if you only order t-shirts or your passes once every 3 months, that month may have higher advertising and it's going to rebound and be a little bit different on your next one to look at. Another thing with the liquor locations that you want to look at is your bar inventory on hand. This one is at 79 days. That's actually not bad. I've seen a lot worse. Essentially, that's money on the shelf of having a whole bunch of liquor that you've purchased and is just sitting there and eating up space and not being put out. That does include beer as well. It's not just liquor, but 79 days isn't bad. Although I have seen some locations that are well below that 60-day, they're like, 39 days or lower. So essentially, their bar inventory is sitting on the shelf for almost 2 months before they use it. So they are over ordering their bar inventory.
You guys, these are things that can be controlled. And I think that this is the whole purpose of having this meeting. And Scotty and I are passionate about it. We talk about numbers all the time. Your payroll, you can control that. Your advertising, you can control. You can control your beverage that you bring in. Taylor, like you were saying, well, I got those splits and we sold out. That's awesome. You never want to go, hey, so-and-so wants me to try some splits, so I'm bringing in 5 cases, because you don't know how it's going to sell. So that way you're not sitting on inventory. If stuff isn't selling, get it out. Find some kind of special, get it out of there. And don't discontinue it. I mean, the easiest way with payroll is, and this is what I do, I will take what we do average weekly per location. So if I take it and let's just say, let me throw out a number. Say you do 25,000. So I'll take 25,000 and then I will times it by what I want my payroll percentage to be, which is normally I like it at 20. So 0.2. That means I have 5,000 to spend in a week on my payroll, which is high, but that will just give me an average to keep me in a ballpark percentage. Sometimes I'll drop it down to 18 because I have employer tax. So you take that $5,000, divide it by 7 days. So you obviously got to keep in mind who's on salary, because if you factor that in and divide that by 7, they're paid every day of the week, whether they're there or not. So you have to factor that into your payroll, or just take it off the top. But you've got to divide it up. Now, obviously, I don't need as many employees on a Sunday, Monday, Tuesday as I'm going to on my latter part of the week. So you can play with it and balance it around to keep it into that percentage. I just did it with a location that I have, which I'll say it, I did it with Flint. This is what you guys can spend. This is it. Do not go over this mark.
Well, and I just asked you the other day because I was playing around with the schedule.
Now, I would never want to be understaffed, but to me, if I'm paying a manager, you're working too. I'm not paying you to stand around and look pretty. You're working.
So with the drinks, like I said, buying the mini champagne bottles, I just bought a couple of them and they were kind of almost like a little promo and they sold out really fast. We have all different kinds of Gatorades. We have the blue sugar-free. Well, we bought the dark blue that's not sugar-free, and we bought like a case or like a 1 pack of them and they sold out fast. And I had to let you know about that. On if we should, like you said, switch them up.
If something that's selling good, then keep it on. But the stuff that's not selling, get it out of there. You don't need it.
Yes, right.
You guys offer too much. I'm gonna tell you that right now. There's too many.
Yeah.
You have too many options available.
Right. Yes, I agree.
All right.
Are you guys going to email these sheets to us, or are they private?
I wish I could, but this will be recorded. And you can't always go back to that recording and take a little bit more of a deep dive look, which is kind of what I was going to get to next. Is once you see you're at a glance, your next step that you're going to go with this process is look at the disbursements. So we're going to pull up both locations disbursements. Now on this, you're going to have things that are controlled. You're also going to have some things that are uncontrolled items. There are some items that are going to be out of your hands. Like maybe your location has a storage unit that they have to rent to keep all your promotional stuff. That's on the border because you can always look for a cheaper storage unit, but that's going to be a reoccurring bill. But things like your technology support, that's your support for, club tracks and show club and things along that nature. Your your taxes, or your rent for your venue. Those are going to be things that are out of your control. But there are a lot of things in here that are in your control that you do need to look at, like your advertising. You need to look at what you're paying out in your amateur contests, making sure that you're getting a good return on investment, or ROI, when it comes to what you're putting in. So cleaning services, if those are something that you're in a location where you're not breaking even, you may want to look at whether or not that cleaning service is worth it in the end to keep, or whether you should be having your cast do your cleaning, unless that cleaning service is doing something that your cast isn't able to do, like shampooing carpets or buffing floors. Then you may just want to limit it to those times of getting those services done instead of having them come in every day, or maybe even cut back the amount of days that they're doing it. Like maybe just before your power nights and after your power nights, and then it goes to your cast from that point to do those cleaning services. Other things, Tammy, I know that you're not controlling the mouse there, but
well, I mean, this location specifically, and what we talked about before, and this is one of the locations I do oversee, so I will admit that right now. So when I first seen it, like I said, I freaked out. Why are you spending $3,000 more when you made less? I look at the things like Scotty is saying that I do have control over. So now I'm looking at, okay, the advertising, the amateur fee, which we really didn't have that before, but that is a competition. The NA beverages, I don't think it's, where's it at? NA beverages, that was up. That's water. That $1,000 difference, or over $1,000 difference, it's our water. So that made sense. So I was like, oh, I think that's a $1,200 expense right off the top. But there are things that I don't have control over, like technology fee, that's doubled. So that to me was, okay, did the bookkeeper hold off on last month so it got doubled in, or is next month I'm not going to have that on there? So those are something that you need to make notes of, because bookkeepers make errors as well. God, I love them to death, but they are human. So that's something where I'm going to go, all right, I need this month's coming up so I can see if technology fees are at a zero, because I did get charged last month. Same with the phone. So I can easily see on this, all right, some of these I do not have control over. Utilities, that was up. So it was, let's investigate. Well, when we lost power, our timers on our lights for the outside of the building were all screwy. So they're on. They would just come on at midnight and stay on until the next day. This is dissecting. This will really tell you a lot about your location and where you can cut back.
How do we get this for our location? Where do we get it?
I get those, so I'll start sending them to you guys and sharing them with you guys.
Oh, thank you.
This is something that as an operator, you're going to probably need to reach out to the officer of your club or whoever's overseeing your club, and it's going to be on an individual basis on who they do give this to. But it's something that if you don't know this, then it's hard for you to be able to drive your club properly, especially in a leadership role. It's kind of like, your checkbook. Yep. I mean, you have your checkbook, you know what your balance is, you know what you should be spending. Without looking at your checkbook, your account's going to be completely out of whack. That's what this is. This is what's going out of your account. This is what they spent in this location for that month to keep everything going. But I
mean, what's really good too is I have a spreadsheet and I'll flip through them on every location that I deal with. I know the things that I cannot change, which are the rent. The technology fees will pretty much stay the same. There's a lot on this that doesn't move around. It'll stay. Cleaning, I know where I'm at, but I keep it as a ledger. It's like my bank book. I treat it like it's my own bank account. I don't go and make purchases from the store and not document it and not know what's in my account. I mean, nobody would do that. That's insanity. So you've got to treat these businesses like they're your own. This is your bank book. This is what you're spending. So that's why to keep these ledgers, it's perfect. Scotty and I were talking. I have my own that I just log everything, and then I keep things consistent as far as, like I said, the rents and other things that I have no control over. So I can see where I'm sitting at. I know what I want to do a month. I know what profit margin I want to be in. So that's how I'll budget myself. So if you guys want one of these sheets, Scotty and I can send one over to you guys. We're like super crammed this week, so don't expect anything this week, but I don't see a reason why we can't get one to you guys next week, or at least to start off the month of August with.
So
I would love that.
kind of wanted to go over like the general layout of how it's set up. That way you guys know. The account number, that is kind of the code that your bookkeeper is using. So if you have a question about that line item of the account name, like if you wanted to see the amateur prizes and the checks that were cut, you would be able to give them this account number and they would be able to pull that up for you. Right here is our current month, our current year. Right here is what you did last year for that same month. And then changes in expenses, that's your variance. So anything highlighted in pink, you spent more this year than you did last year. Anything that is in brackets, you spent less this year than you did last year. So that is the general layout of how every single one of these will look.
And then your dues and subscriptions, your earning reserves, that's, you have no control. I mean, if you guys want to know which each line is, like your advertising, like what goes into that. I mean, on the other page, they throw in your feature performers into that. You know what I mean? Or travel, it all gets thrown up into the advertising. So
advertising would mean flyers and
yes. Yep. Yeah. Flyers, your outside sign, your inside slide on your PowerPoints, all that. The making of those is going to go into that.
Billboards, radio ad.
Yep.
Right.
That's all going to go in your advertising.
That here you can see employee benefits went up, insurance went up. I can't control those, so they're out of my control.
Right.
So I'm not really going to go through this one as much, but I'm just going to kind of scroll through slowly to where when you guys go back through, you guys could pause, review it a little bit more in detail. But there are some things that like entertainment talent or entertainment and shows, that very well could have been the showgirl of the year or a feature. So that may not be on every single month. So those are things that you want to look at. So entertainment and shows, if you're like, wait, why did I spend that much entertainment and shows? You would pull that 1610, reach out to your bookkeeper, and they would be able to look up and tell you what that was by that code of 1610. So at the very bottom of both these, you're going to also see the overall expenses paid for your current year, last year, and the variance. So again, you're going to see current year, last year, and your variance. So we can see that this location has spent about $52,000 more this year than they did on the year prior. Now, there is a third part to these pages, and that is your receiving or what you made in income. So we're going to go to both those pages for both these locations. So as we can see here, it's going to show you like things like your rent income. It's going to show you things like merchandise sales. If you were an alcohol establishment, it's going to show you your beer sales. It's going to show you your liquor, your NA beverage. It's going to go over your script, also known as VooCash or Beaver Bucks. And then it's also going to give you your overall at the very bottom after you go through each line item, which these are going to be very similar to your GSRs that you look at the end of each night. But at the very end, you're going to see your overall income brought in, and then your overall income brought in the year prior, and then your variance. Underneath that, you have your deposits. So that's what was deposited into your account. And then it will show you on the front page here your total check disbursements. So that's what was paid out. And then it will kind of give you a current month of like your script information as far as that 10% script sales, your non-alcoholic beverage sales percentage as a percentage of the bars. For alcohol locations, it's going to do the same thing. And then looking at other income centers. Tami, is there anything you want to go over on this page in particular that
What
you
about credit
for?
cards?
I'm sorry, what's that?
What about credit cards? You got deposits, checks.
The
Bank.
deposits are overall deposits made into your account. Your merchant accounts are going to deposit into your bank account.
Okay.
So
Okay.
that's not like physical cash going in, that's overall income going into your business.
Right. Okay. Cool.
I'm good on that one, Scotty.
What's that?
I'm good on that page. You asked me if I had anything on it, but that's pretty
Okay.
self-explanatory. Accounts receivable.
Yeah, this is essentially gonna really align with your GSRs and your menu item reports that you're doing every single week. So this shouldn't come as too much of a surprise on any of these income revenue centers. The most important things that I think that come out of these reports are where you're spending your money through the disbursements, which I can't see the top of this one, so I'm gonna have to move it, and your at-a-glances. So where you're spending your money on your disbursements, and then your at-a-glances to show you where to look on your disbursements. So if you were to think about it, just like, let's think we're on, sitting in a boat, the at a glance would be just kind of you looking across the water. The disbursements is going to be, you throwing on a pair of goggles and diving down into the water and taking a closer look. So that's kind of how you're going to use these. You're going to use this as a very surface level snapshot of your business. This is going to give you that more detailed level. And then from there, you'd use the specific accounts to reach out to your bookkeepers to see exactly what those individual items are. So that's like taking it underneath the microscope. Does anyone have questions over this information?
Myself being new as a manager, I am very excited to get into all these numbers to kind of clean some stuff up and figure some things out. I do this every month for my own household. So I'm excited to kind of get into the nitty-gritty and figure out all this stuff.
Yeah, I mean, if you think of the club as your household, if you think of this as your money going in and out, it's going to make your location far more profitable and run far better as a whole.
Right.
Because you're not going to run your own account in a deficit. If you treat the club as your own account, you are going to be much more concerned with what you're spending money on, where you're spending your money, and it's only going to make your location more profitable and be the best it possibly can be.
And that this also helps me with, what we do have to spend and what we should be spending that money on and what we don't have and what to be careful with.
Absolutely. It's going to absolutely help your budgeting if you can understand and read these reports. Now, they are about a month lag behind. I wish we could get them a little bit sooner, but it's not like at the end of May, you're immediately going to get May's. It does take time for the bookkeepers to get everything together, but they're very detail oriented. It doesn't mean that they are not humans. Humans can make mistakes. So you always want to review this really carefully. And you want to look for things like double payments and know that the
Right.
following month you're not going to have that double payment. You're going to want to look to see, if you bought uniforms that month, that your uniform expenses are going to be on that month, and you may only buy uniforms twice a year. So there could be those months where you got to account for that.
What would be very interesting is if we got a copy of 2023, but kept, the current month year open and blank, and that way we can know what we did last year and what we have the amount of and what we should be careful on for the months that we are creating.
Well,
Are you saying you want last year's for August?
Yeah, we could do last year's for August and just kind of get together and kind of like me and the other management just kind of know like what we spent last year, what we have for this year, what we've made last month, and just kind of be careful with it and try to make these numbers look pretty and perfect before they're even made up.
Trust me, they're pretty perfect.
I would actually ask for the same thing for last year's numbers in August, the same way.
Well, the officer.
I guess.
Go ahead. I was just gonna say the officer of your location should have these reports, and they should be able to pull up last year's numbers. I know I don't delete anything. Everything is saved in different file folders in my email. So I'm pretty sure even if your officer didn't have it, they would be the ones that could reach out to your bookkeeper and probably get you a copy.
Anybody that I deal with directly, I'll get you guys a copy. You guys are pretty comparable. I mean, it's inventory control, which is huge. Just like, in Lansing, I know each of you are different. Flint, it's by the cup or by the can. Traverse City is by the can. Lansing is different. Lansing is by a bag in a box, but I know I can get 330 cups out of the bag. So, you know what I mean? It's just stuff that you got to break down and itemize and know for inventory purposes, so you know what you're gonna sell. But you guys keep it in a good line. Taylor, Traverse City's amazing, but I'm hardcore. I know what you guys spend. You know how I am.
When you say that we're amazing, I'd like that to be even broken down a little more.
It will, but I'll do that for you guys. I mean, this is what we're teaching, and I will say, and I will fess up. That's something that has always been my baby as far as the numbers. Cameron and Christy and Lee, they've worked with me long enough. They know I guide, and it's something that I need to let you guys learn and spread your wings with me still there, keeping the clutch on you guys so you don't overdo it, but give you guys more leeway to make your own decision, but run it through me to finalize before I just set you free.
I guess it would be just like a practice with the last year's.
It is. Now I will get those over to you guys.
Okay. And that way we can treat it like our house more than just, oh, they got it and we're just here to work.
Yeah, because I would like a general idea of exactly where my numbers should be instead of having to call a person and find out. Okay, and then I'm waiting for an email back or a call back to even get the numbers. And before I know it, a whole week or two to went by.
You guys are not allowed to spend. If you are a manager, just a manager, it's $50 without getting authorization. If it's a general manager, it's $200 before you get authorization. So that's just a general rule of thumb. And we do this for a reason. I can give you guys, as far as like scheduling purposes and like your advertising, to break that stuff down. But everybody, they know how to keep control of your utilities. Turn the lights off. When you leave, turn them off. You don't need them on. Stop turning the air from 75 degrees or 74 degrees in the club and then turning it down to 65. One, you're going to break the unit because it can't jump down that low that quickly, especially in the heat that we're in. You're just going to keep it running and it's going to break.
Okay, so
I never understood that. Why are we keeping the buildings or wanting to keep them at 65 degrees, but in the wintertime, you guys want it at 90?
I get that.
So those are things that you can control at all times. Supplies, do a count. Where's the toilet paper going? How many are we going through? This is stuff that I know. And Chris, God bless her heart, when I'm not in Lansing, knows it too. I mean, all we had to do is go in the back room and go, okay, we got blah, 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 blah. All right, this is what we need. That's it. It's a standard of, we know what we go through on a weekly basis.
Right.
Anybody in Lansing could call me and go, hey, I've got this on my shelf and I'm going to go order A, B, C, D, and E. This is how many. Done. Same with Chris. This
All
is
right.
what you guys need to memorize. This is how you operate. This is how you budget and you save. If I go through 5 boxes of, or 5 cases of Red Bull, in a week, why am I ordering 10? You don't need it.
Right.
Especially with the liquor club. I mean, I know I've been there, done that. You got to rotate. You're rotating. So don't overdo it.
We are running pretty close to that hour. We want to try to keep these meetings to roughly an hour or less. That way they're easier to go back and digest. And also we're not taking too much of your guys' time. Does anyone have any questions on reading these month-end reports, like the at a glance or the disbursements or the receivables? Also, for anyone who's not a manager, I know you're not going to probably be doing this at a glance stuff monthly, but as an employee cast member, you can still contribute to this. One of the things that you can do is you can be cognizant or aware of the amount of products that you're using and pulling, and also keeping an eye on when you're running low on something to let the manager know. Now, that manager should already be keeping track of it, but it doesn't mean that you can't help them keep track of it. If, you notice that you're pulling the last thing of straws or napkins or something like that, or you notice that you're going through a lot of straws or napkins and you typically don't go through that much, as you're the one being the one that pulls it very often, then you should probably be bringing that up to the manager and be like, hey, why are we going through so many straws, or why are we going through so many bev naps, or why are we going through so much bleach or isopropyl alcohol or things along that nature? Every single employee cast member should be aware of the usage of your items, because by doing that, you are contributing to the success of your venue. It's a sense of pride and a sense of ownership. If you were going through a ton of toilet paper at your house, you're going to wonder what's going on. You're going to wonder why, is your roommate inviting so many friends over to use your bathroom?
I mean, true story, guys. And I know Chris is on this call and she's probably going to laugh her little butt off as I'm saying this. We normally get candle fuel once every 3 to 4 months. It got to where Chris and I, we are out of candle fuel and we're like, what the hell? We just ordered last month. Like, how did we get, 6 master cases and they're gone? But come to find out, because we investigated it, we had a bartender who got our electricity shut off. And she was taking our candle fuel home and using it for light.
Oh,
So you have to continuously keep track and inventory. That's how you will control your costs.
well, we also work together as a team as well. So the management can, focus on these big numbers, but go to the team members and be like, hey, just keep track of this stuff, please. Let me know this. Yeah. Okay.
All
So
right.
does anybody need anything from me?
Yes, I do have a question actually.
Yes.
Hi, I'm Marcus Anthony. I'm from North Hollywood.
Hi, Marcus
I am
Anthony.
hi. I'm on the promo team, but I'm also currently now at MIT. But starting in MIT.
Congratulations on that.
Thank you. I appreciate it. So I have a couple questions as far as regarding say for instance, we are a juice bar. So we're fully nude, but we're a juice bar. And of course there's product that we have that is sitting on the shelf. Say for instance, we have Hustler vapes, but our location, since we are part of the California, LA County laws, we're not allowed to vape indoors. We're allowed to vape outside on the patio. So we have introduced hookah sales but we have Hustler vapes. So if I wanted to get that off the shelves, but we're not allowed to and I guess sell them. But say for instance, if I wanted to switch it out for something else, like non-alcoholic beverages to introduce mocktails to our location, what is the process of doing so?
I don't know if well, I mean, what I would do is see if you have another location that'll take them off your hands. So you can do a transfer out.
So
That's
yes,
what,
and you are. So I'm sorry to interject. This is Adia. We discussed that on Saturday, Marcus.
Mhm.
And so Kira is going to buy them for Bakersfield for you guys. So that'll get off your books soon.
as I say,
Oh
if
yeah,
she
no,
don't, I
I
would.
remember that. I remember that conversation there. I know that's how that works. However, I was going to go into say for instance non-alcoholic beverages as well. So say for instance,
Yeah.
if I realized something wasn't working in the club and in the space, how do I go about filtering that out to then be able to be allowed to purchase new bar inventory? You get what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
So
Yeah. So if it was something like the hookah, like you were talking about, you would have to do a transfer out because that's already a purchase. So if it's something with mocktail, that's something that you would just discontinue off of there. I don't know. The easiest way to make a mocktail is with a simple syrup. So that's something that I know Adil was putting on bundles. If not, Amazon has a shit ton, or if you have, I think it's called Restaurant Depot. I know Bo will go there for a lot of stuff. A lot of other locations will. So if it's a simple syrup that you're using, you can totally get that off you can discontinue it. It's not a big deal. I think one thing that really helps with the mocktails, change it up per season. Although you are in California, but maybe you can still set a mood, an ambiance for it. But the cups that you can get off of Gear Me Up that Adia has and that she can make for you are unbelievable. And it really does help. The LED ones are absolutely amazing. She has martini glasses that are LED. Pint glasses that are LED. So it's all about imagination. It's all about presentation. Is this Instagram worthy? If somebody going to take a picture of this drink and post it to their social media, that's what you want. You want to create a hype because once somebody sees the hype of that, then they're going to want it.
I like the stencils that you use, Tami, on yours.
I have stencils. I have a bubble
Great.
gun that puts a bubble on it. It also does smoke. It'll give it a different flavor when you do stuff like that. So it is about a budget that you would have to discuss with Adia and
Yeah,
Kira.
that was my last question was going to be, I have this vision to revamp the way we kind of sell as far as utilizing our cast and our waitresses and selling and creating hookah menus and mocktail menus and the presentation that it goes with to greeting a guest when they walk in the door. However, if I'm new to the MIT portion and I want to get the budget to do so, but we're already in a hole, it's kind of like a battle.
it is. So we'll just have to be creative, Marcus. So I would say for you to get out of these plans, just present it to Kira and I, and we can help you build it. And, yes, right now there is some budget restrictions because of the sales. That doesn't necessarily mean that it can't be done. We just got to be creative in how we do it. So if that means that we have to start with some clear plastic, squat cups that
Laminated.
look
Yeah,
nice.
that was my thought.
Yeah, we may have to start there, if so we can be creative. So I would just put it all together and then just present it to us. Obviously you have to present it to your management, right? And present it to us, and then let us take it to the ones as if depending on the budget, we can either like, oh, okay, yes, we can definitely do that. Or we may have to take it up higher and say, hey guys, it really starts with the plan. That's the same thing that we have to do. Even with this program that we are doing for you guys, we also have to create a plan and show this plan. So it all starts with just showing what the plan is and what the ROI could be. And any of those questions, we're happy to help you with.
Perfect.
And that's one of the things we wanted to do with this team is you have some other creative people on the call in this greater team who can really help you figure out how to do it. Like I said, I don't know if you were on the last call, but Bo here is the masterful when it comes to promotions. And so I'm sure if you get on a call or an email with Bo, he can really tell you how you can make whatever your idea works. Bo thinks outside the box. I mean, he's one of the most creative people I know when it comes to promotions, but he's also been doing this 32 years. So he can also tell you
hey man, I did this didn't work, but if you switch this here, this may work even better. Reggie is another
And
great promo guy. Go ahead.
I have been wanting to get with that was actually something that I'm glad he brought up, because I've noticed that a lot of stuff that we're told to do and try in our locations don't actually work for every location. Like our Flint locations, our city is not really too much involved in the entertain or the strip club entertainment business. So it's kind of hard for us to get out and go to events and promote, because a lot of our events don't want to be associated with us. Even when I bring it up as GoBEST, they once they find out our location and where we're coming from, they automatically tell us they don't want us involved because they want family oriented sponsor events.
May I
So
say
then
something?
I would say get with, yeah, Reggie, go ahead. I was just about to bring you up. Go ahead, Reggie.
Hi. I know that some of the cities in different places, how it would do better is you have to build a relationship with the city, and then you have to build a relationship with some of your politicians, of course. And like here, I'm from Stockton, so we work with all the politicians, the mayor, everybody. So they're in favor of us. So I know that some places they're not in favor of gentlemen's clubs, but you have to build that relationship. It's not just going out to do passes. You have to go, you have to dig into it. You have to go to meetings with these politicians, see what they're offering. You're gonna have to do favors. They're doing like golf tournaments, and sometimes you just have to send your team, even if it's on the under and they don't want to be blasted with deja vu. But you have to do these things to build this relationship, and then once you execute that event or for them, and they know that you stand by what you're going to offer, then your relationship will build. And then it's also how you for me, when I bring our showgirls or our cast out, we just don't while out and just like, oh yeah, we're just going to do this and just dance around and everything. I mean, you have to present yourself well. You have to dress the part, even with the showgirls or the cast members, and then you have to teach them the language, how to speak to what audience you're going to. So I suggest building your relationship, building your relations with the city, or the city and the people that are involved in the city, and then so they will favor you, and then you guys will be cool, and just you get to go everywhere you want. Even if you have a deja vu van everywhere, I'm welcome everywhere. One more thing, I wanted just to revisit something that you said, Marcus, because I am from California. I had to revisit this email because of the hookahs and the vapes. I had spoken with Modern today, but I had to revisit it because in California we have to check the laws, because yes, we do sell e-hookahs, and we purchased hookahs and vapes, but California law is no more flavored ones. So that's what's stopping us right now. So before, I know Kira's from California as well, but maybe we should revisit that topic, because in California we do not sell they're strict, so we can't sell flavored ones anymore. So maybe all of us could revisit it, because we cannot sell flavored ones.
We can definitely revisit it, because I don't want to keep everybody on the call, because I know California laws are totally different. So we'll talk about it, but just know that's tobacco, and then the hookahs that you have no tobacco. But again, we can revisit that. The other thing I wanted to say, Lee, is I actually have met your House of Representative person. So one of the things I suggest is, like Reggie was saying, is find out who your local lawmakers are and build those relationships. She was quite receptive, and I believe she lives in Flint. I'll see if I can reach out to her again and get you in contact with her. That's really the start. We've got to make sure, and I say this for everybody, find out who your local lawmakers are and start building that relationship, and let them know that you are not the strip clubs that they see in the movies or on TVs. I've talked to so many lawmakers and they're so surprised, number one, that we're doing things like this, right? Where we are creating leaders and managers. They're so shocked because they have the idea of who we are and not the knowledge of the actuality of who we are and what we do. You understand what I'm saying? So
Yes,
it's
ma'am.
so imperative that we get in touch with these lawmakers, because if they don't know, they're going to continue to fight against us.
But it's still hard to get out there in the community and let them know, like, we've changed, we've revamped the way we've evolved. Let me not say revamped. We've evolved over time.
Absolutely. And so I would say this, guys. So I know we talked about culture in the beginning, and we're going to continue to touch base on culture, but I want you guys to like really break down all the parts of the mission statement, all the parts of the best factor. And that is how you show people that we are not what they see in the movies or on TV, because there's not a lot of clubs out there that even have a mission statement, right? Like I said, when I've talked to lawmakers, when I've talked to the Department of Homeland Security, I have gotten so much further when they realize, oh, you guys are like a business. And it's like, of course we are, but they don't see us that way because we're not educating our people enough. You know, we're letting them be educated by the television, by the movies. And it's not as interesting to find out that a gentleman's club is actually an amazing place to be, where people go and have fun and are able to, you know, go to a rejection-free zone. It's very much what they see. So we have to educate them. And a sneaky way, I wanted to add this in, I don't like to say sneaky, but a sneaky way that you guys can promote is on your shirts. And remember, we talked about that merchandise contest. So you guys are going to have these options on your site, and you can have them as well through Gear Me Up. You can have shirts, and if Stefan is on from Wilkes-Barre, they have shirts that say, ask me for a pass. So it's not you doing any promotions, right? It's literally them reading the shirt and then now coming up to you or your entertainer and saying, hey, I want a pass. Because just because the venue or whatever may not be strip club friendly or gentleman's club friendly or venue, depending on what your venue is, it doesn't necessarily mean that somebody else isn't interested in coming. So they'll read your shirt and may just ask you on the fly. That does not count as soliciting.
Well,
does that make sense?
Yeah, it does actually. I get a lot of my shirts personally made from our local t-shirt shops here in Flint. Because I feel like the best way of advertising is to walk around wearing Deja Vu apparel or GoBEST apparel. So I go and I get it done. But a lot of our t-shirt shops turn me down because if I ask them to put Deja Vu on a shirt, they'll tell me no because of the copyrights. Or if I ask them to put GoBEST on there, they'll tell me no because of the copyrights. So I then have to go in.
As they should.
Right.
As they should, because
I agree.
But that's
I
why
agree
you
with
have
that.
that's why you have an inner company that can do all that for you, because we already have licenses. So I would implore you to use GoBEST because it's all the same ownership, which means we've already taken care of the licensing stuff.
Yeah, I get that, but it's like it's harder for me because I'm new to the management portion. So me being a DJ and having my own DJing company, I would go out and just get like 1 or 2 personal shirts done, and it's still even hard to get that done.
And that's why we're here for you. And again, I understand you're new, but that's also why it was so imperative for us to do these things, because we want to introduce all of the resources that we have to support you guys. You know, GoBEST is, keep in mind for all of you, and I want you guys to all understand this, you are a client of GoBEST, okay? You're our clients. So just like you have the guests that come into your place of business, and we have the expectation that you're going to treat them like a guest, you are our clients. So let us know what you need. And that means if you don't know where to go, or you're having trouble, we are your resource. That is literally my job. That is the job of my cast here in Las Vegas, is to support you. And I want you to really understand that and know that we are here to support you. I think Nick is on the call. I think I saw Nick. Nick is PR. Nick is phenomenal at PR. He's also here to support you. He runs our marketing team. So Nick is our PR director as well as our marketing director. His job is to help you guys do the marketing. You have resources. GoBEST is a resource. Okay.
Yes.
So if you're having
Andrea Woods is a great resource when it comes to partnership marketing, charitable efforts, and that's a good way to break the ice with your local reps and your local charitable local charitable outlets. And really, it's just about getting out in the community and shaking hands and kissing babies, and that's what she does best. So I think that she'd be a great resource for you as well.
Yeah,
and she's also one of the leaders on this group as well. So she's visible, she's available. You have access to her as well.
Yeah, we actually have a specific class planned that's going to be going over promotions and street teaming and community outreach. So a lot of the questions that I've been hearing are stuff that we are going to be covering in future classes. We have so much information that we want to get out to you guys, going over many different levels. From today was more of a management level, but we have things going from management all the way to the employee cast member. And we want to make sure that these classes can give something to every single one of you. And it sounds like I may be speaking with the rest of the people in these courses to maybe push up that promotional class, because it sounds like there's a lot of interest in it. So I am happy for the feedback, and I want to be able to get you those tools to where you don't feel so, for the lack of a better word, like out in the cold when it comes to that promotions, and you feel that you have that support, which we do have for you, but it just hasn't been shown the resources that you have at your disposal yet.
I cannot tell you guys how grateful I am for your time and how excited I am that these questions are coming up. And I really hope that, again, after this call, I hope you guys are direct messaging each other, your phone numbers or email addresses, and saying, hey, I really want to talk more about this. That is the whole point of coming all together, is to increase everyone's network. We want you guys at the end of all of this to have at least 4 to 5 people that you talk to on a daily, weekly, monthly basis to get new ideas or keep each other inspired. The 5 of us, we're accountability partners. We keep each other accountable, and we hope that you guys get 4 to 5 people to do the same.
Your network is your net worth, right?
There it is.
Yeah.